So we will talk now about the William Saliba injury. He came off after just 5 minutes at Liverpool. I think I saw a stat. It was Arsenal's earliest Premier League sub since 2012. It emerged that he hurt himself in the warm-up. He twisted his ankle, tried to carry on, then couldn't. He was seen walking or limping, if you like, through the mixed zone after the game. I think he gave John Cross the thumbs up, saying that it wasn't so bad. He has pulled out of the France squad now, but the fact that he was able to walk or limp away from the stadium and also carry on after it first happened, is there hope that this one isn't too serious?
Definitely hope. I mean, God can really do without another injury. I think the collective groan around the world of Arsenal fans could be heard far and wide when the camera shot to William Saliba sitting on the floor. Um, I thought it was strange when they then flicked to the touchline and Mascara was already in his kit waiting to come on. I was like, God, that was quick. How's he managed that? Obviously, it then emerged it was something that happened in the warm-up, so it was something they were preparing for, and they just thought they sent him out to see if he could get through it. He obviously wanted to give it a go. But yeah, I mean, that you would obviously absolutely hope that this isn't going to be anything too serious. Like you said, he has pulled out the France squad. France confirming that in a statement yesterday. They described it as a sprained ankle. Arsenal will be doing a scan on him. I'm sure he had the scan yesterday, and we're just waiting for the results now to emerge. And there'll be a real hope around Arsenal that it's nothing too serious. This season has just followed on so far from what we saw last season. Injuries wise, we were really hoping last year was a bit of an outlier, a one-off. But if the start to this season is anything to go by, it's clearly not. Having lost Havertz, Saka, we're not even seen Norgard yet in the Premier League. Um, Odegaard, Jesus obviously not back yet. Ben White's barely featured, and now you sort of lose William Saliba as well. It's just one after the other. So fingers crossed it's not too bad. The good thing is Mascara was fantastic, by the way. What a debut to come on like that. Um, and perform like that when you're not expecting it as well. It's one thing, I suppose, with 20 minutes to go when you've kind of been warming up and it's like, this is opportunity. But when you're kind of thrown on at Anfield, when you haven't really prepared to start a game and you are basically starting the game, you're playing 85 minutes. I thought he played really, really well. And that bodes well for Arsenal's season. He looks strong. After a couple of nervy moments early on, he just settled into that game and looked fantastic. So that's the positive. Obviously, the negative, Saliba's injury. Fingers crossed it's not too bad, but there's one area on the pitch where Arsenal have got unbelievable strength in depth at the moment. It is in defence.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my next questions actually about the Mosquera performance because like you said, he wasn't expecting to be thrown in the Anfield cauldron like that, but he slotted in seamlessly alongside Gabriel, didn't look out of place at all, looked incredibly composed. He showed why Arsenal wanted him, he showed why they went after him in the summer transfer window. And so, like you say, fingers crossed that Saliba might be back soon. If it's only a small sprain, could just be a couple of weeks. But like you said, we're still waiting on the results of that. But let's say the worst comes to the worst, as it often does with Arsenal, and he's out for any period of time. Do you have complete confidence in Mosquera to hold the fort? Does he see? It's a very small sample size, of course, but does he seem like the perfect cover for Saliba from what we've seen so far?
Well, certainly from what we've seen so far, and I think that's what he's been signed to do. There are other options. If Ben White was fit, you could play him centre back, or you could play Timber centre back. But Mosquera's come in to be Saliba's cover. So, and what we've seen from him, not just on at Anfield, but what we saw from him in pre-season when he played as well. He just looks like a top quality defender, and he's got so much experience as well. It's not like, although he's young, it's not like he's coming in and he's not played. He's been playing in the league for a good few years now, barely missed a game. So he's got lots of top level experience against top quality players. And I think he showed that. He played on the front foot. He was aggressive. He tracked his man. I was really impressed by him. And the more you look at that transfer, there's been loads of good deals done by Arsenal this summer, but you look at sheer value for money, I think, from all the deals they've done this summer for the age, the quality, the experience he's got. He looks like an absolute bargain to me. And certainly what we've seen on the pitch, backs that up.
Yeah, lots of promise already being shown from him. And you mentioned there about White and Timber being options. Of course, Arsenal have so much versatility in that back line. And intriguingly, so Timber and White have rarely played together, of course, mainly because one's always been injured when the other one's playing. I think I looked at the data yesterday. They've only been on the same pitch for Arsenal 12 times already. And that's when it's normally been White at right back, sorry, and then Timber at left back. They've only played sort of right back and centre back once, and that was I think it was the home loss to West Ham last year, where White replaced Saliba towards the end, and Timber was starting at right back. Is that a combination you could ever see Arteta going for? I mean, obviously White and Timber both have their qualities at right back, but they can play centre back. So could we see, obviously Ben White has got his knock right now, but hopefully he'll be back soon. Could you ever envision Arteta going White right back, Timber centre back, or Timber right back, White centre back?
I think I probably if they're going to do that, it'd be a sort of in-game type situation. I doubt it'd start like that unless there was real injury problems that's meant that Mascara can play, Saliba can play. So I doubt it, to be honest. It doesn't really feel like that. But like you said, at the moment, it's always a case of one injured and one not with those two. It's like you even saw Timber go down at the end of the Anfield game, and just like he's being run into the ground already because Ben White's injured, and it's just carrying on from last season. So fingers crossed they can come back. They could do it. They could absolutely do it. They're both such good quality footballers. And I think Timber centrally is a fantastic option for Arsenal. We've seen Ben White has done that in the past, but yeah, it feels like more of a sort of in-game situation, like you mentioned against West Ham last season when White came on late on. That's I think we'd see it there, but not really from the start.
Yeah, it would be like a emergency option, wouldn't it? And looking back,
Mhm.
and you mentioned there about how many injuries Arsenal have had already. Yeah, I think Saliba's now, yeah, the seventh or the eighth. Most of them have been, those muscle injuries, those knocks. Odegaard's shoulder issue was like a freak injury, if you like, but then the rest were these strains or sprains or knocks. And I saw a lot of online comments on Sunday when it happened with Saliba saying that, oh, Arteta's training methods must be to blame. He's clearly overworking them, especially seeing as the injuries have just continued to pile up at the start of this season after so many last season as well. Do you buy into any of those comments? Do you think there could be any truth behind that?
I don't know. It's all hypothetical, really, isn't it? I mean, it's an easy thing to say. It's like, oh, they must be doing something wrong on the training ground. But the previous season, Arsenal had the best injury record of anyone in the Premier League, and barely, the accusation being levelled at them by all the other rival fans was, oh, none of your players are ever injured. So, the training methods have been very, very similar that season, I presume, to what they were last season behind the scenes. We do ask Mikel about that in press conferences, and he always says that we do thorough investigations. We want to improve, and of course they do. The most key thing for this squad is player availability. It's what let Arsenal down last season. They'll be doing everything they can behind the scenes to ensure that that doesn't happen this time around. So they will be looking at what goes on in training. They will be looking at all the data to ensure that they can do something differently. So I don't know. It feels like it's just an easy thing to say with these injuries. Saliba, we don't know what happened in the warm-up either. If it was an ankle sprain, he probably went over on it, I imagine, and rolled his ankle, something like that. So I don't think that would be primarily a muscle injury either. So I mean, it's impossible to really answer that definitively. It's an easy one for fans to say, but I mean, I just know how hard the club work behind the scenes to try and keep players fit and keep players available. There's so much data that goes into every single training session to monitor the players' levels. So I would think that it's just coincidence, but I don't have the medical skills to be able to say that for sure.
I think, unless you're there at the training ground every day, watching every second, you just don't know, do you?
And this is so early in the season. It's not like they've been running to the ground this season. There wasn't an international tournament either in the summer. So they all had a proper rest and stuff. So you just look at it and think how it surely it can't be down to training at the moment. It's just too early. They should be in peak condition, really. So I don't know. I still feel it more falls on bad luck more than anything else.